Hello, all. Welcome to the Tech Podcast. And I am Sudeep Srivastav, your host for today. We are honored to have with us Mr. Suman Chakraborty. He is a naval veteran and NDA alumnus. Mr. Suman Kumar Chakraborty was awarded the gold medal by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam for topping his MTech class and has twice received the Chief of Naval Staff Commendation. He served on key Indian Navy ships, including INS Shivalik, and led mission-critical projects and foreign deputations. With 25 years of experience, he is an ISB alumnus recognized among the top 25 exceptional leaders in IT globally in 2023. Right now, he is part of the core team for Center for Advanced AI at Accenture. And before this, he was head of customer success for Product Canvas and got awarded twice in 2023 for AI Excellence 2023 Awards and AI Breakthrough Awards. With that, welcome, Mr. Suman here. Would you like to share a little bit more about your journey with all of us today?
Hey, thanks, Sudeep. So yeah, Commander Suman, that's me. And just to add to what Sudeep was actually spoke almost the entire journey of mine in few sentences. But the highlights I would bring out also is I was lucky to be the officer of choice for the Indian Navy, where what I was being always the early adopter, a tech enabler. Why I say that? Because be it the first of the data center back in 2014, where I was part of the core team there for the Indian Navy and the armed forces in general, or even the accreditation to the CMI ML3, which is for the software development and testing later, be it setting up the AR/VR facilities. So in all these pioneering activities for the Navy, I somehow found myself there. So I would definitely say that I've been an early, I would say, adopter for the Indian Navy and an officer of choice. That's what I was with the Indian Navy. And in the last 4+ years, in fact, close to 5 years in the CV street, courtesy being an ISB alum and also 2 startups where I was head of technology, one in emerging tech. What I realized that of late, what we are seeing around us is because where you are. And I have only been fortunate till now to be always been part of these initiatives, adoptions. That is what I would say makes my experience more fruitful.
Thank you, Suman, for summarizing that so beautifully. So we have been hearing about AI a lot. What's your perspective of AI and its impact today?
Yeah, that's again, it's no more a buzzword. Is that I would say is no more even for anyone, but even the children in the room today will definitely raise their hand if we talk about AI. But was it the same 2 years back? In fact, precariously so, 30th of November, 2022, happened ChatGPT. And the ChatGPT moment brought forth what was in the last 71 or 75 years after the Turing experiment in its being, the AI. But we had the ChatGPT moment, bringing AI in the foray. Where it is today, what we have seen, just like I mentioned, I being an early adopter, but quoting George Moore here, the crossing the chasm. We are yet to cross the chasm of AI. And when I say, what is this chasm? The chasm is the AI adoption. Because for an AI adoption to happen, we have to make it available at large. And the word which we are more used to listening, scaling with AI. Because in the last 2 years, in any of the hype cycles, so to say, it takes around 2 years, right, to climb the peak, go to the plateau of sustainability. But what we have seen, that AI is still emerging because we have other things which are important to us, helping it to either jump this S-curve and stabilize or be pulled back in and stay within the S-curve. So where it is today is it's precariously poised, both ready to take that leap into the next S curve, but waiting for that adoption at large. So that is where AI is today, where it is not the imperative only, it is the elephant in the room.
Awesome, very well said. And no, I agree with you. It's ready for the next leap, and I think it's very, very clear and very evident. And there's a lot of promotion about hiring AI usage in various technology, various product, and AI is playing a very critical role in hiring. So AI to hire has many options. What about AI to retain? Would you like to throw some lights on that?
See, again, a very good question for a very specific reason. Only yesterday, I think yesterday or day before, there are two eminent, I would say, cornerstones of AI. OpenAI, Sam Altman, Justin Huang, NVIDIA. Who doesn't know them? They spoke on similar front that it is not going to be the AI which is going to replace you, but the people with AI who can be a replacement. But why be so? That is where the entire factor of AI to retain becomes more important. We have seen AI being used across the value chain, right? When I say value chain for an HR, it is right start from the time that you make that job description. Great, you have an AI. You pass it through LinkedIn, you have mappings, you bring it in, you interview, you have AI notes, so on and so forth. And then once you're onboarding, there's so much of AI. And then you're also enabling them to grow. But it is this last part of the value chain which enabling people to grow is the AI to retain. So you can use the best of AI to hire, but let's not use AI to fire. Let's use AI to retain, where everyone exactly knows that in their career path, what's my buddy telling me? What should I do more to be on the periphery and look at the I would say team growing, but be a part of the team which is growing.
Wonderful. That's a wonderful thought. So I like what you said, saying people are not going to lose job, but they're going to be replaced with people who have AI skill set, which means people need to upgrade themselves with AI skill set, and the companies can also impart AI knowledge to their existing workforce. Love that. Wonderful. Um, there's a lot of talk about co-pilots, and I think it's how easy it will make people's life. But do you think there's more to AI than co-pilots?
Again, this is almost actually going back in one of the conversations I was leading in the engagements I was having, that a very keen customer said, is there anything to AI other than co-pilot? I said, that's what you want to hear. Because when in today's world you want to take a test drive, you need the co-pilot with you to maneuver. But those are table stakes. They are not going to help you cross this chasm. This chasm is going to be of scaling with AI. And therefore, it is customize, customize, and customize. Because if you see and remain at only consume, which is through co-pilots and otherwise, you will never get your own domain. You've all been hearing about custom LLMs or SLMs for that matter. Why only LLMs? We're talking about what is the most unique thing which we have. Every company has their own process, has their own data, their own proprietary data. So if all of this has to happen, you cannot remain at the consumption layer. Here I bring up the OSI model, which we all used to relate to in our tech stack. You're looking at the application layer. You're looking at the consumption. Let's look at complete layer, right from infrastructure to the data, to the network, upwards, building it in entirety so that when we are using it to customize to our needs, that is how we'll scale within as an enterprise. That's the enterprise AI which you need to be. And that wouldn't happen only with copilots. They are good to start with, but the need to carry on and take that leap of customization to cross this chasm of adoption.
Wonderful. So there is more to AI than co-pilots. I hope all of you got that perspective, which is very interesting. Um, Another thought that comes to mind is, people who are creating AI are all human. And we know all human have biases. How do we ensure that AI is fair and the biases that people have does not percolate into the AI?
So, while talking on biases, because two words which became very prominent in our dictionary in the last 2 years, apart from Chat GPT, was bias and hallucination. Keeping that aside, that comes with the large language models. And we're talking about AI here, not generative AI. AI in general, and not generative AI. So coming back to the question, those biases, those fairness, how I see it, can be achieved if we think about AI getting democratized. When I say AI getting democratized, because if you don't democratize it, as I see that um, being someone that bent of mind, you always tend to see the data points as a Gaussian curve. If you look at them as a Gaussian curve, then if you're not democratizing, you will always have a left or a right skew. A Gaussian curve will not have the evenness. And that is another, I would say, point of focus for everyone, because then you'll have the AI divide, the haves and the have-nots. So by getting to use open source, by getting to promote open source, and look at this SDGs of yesterday, 17 of them, Sustainable Development Goals. So let us look at them differently now. Rather than mapping AI to maybe 3 or 10, which is for technology, let's look at using AI for good. In fact, we had our own prime minister speaking about it very recently, where he talked about AI for all from the US on the forum, where he met all the global tech CEOs there at MIT. That is how the fairness will come. That is how the AI divide can be at least made limited, because AI needs investment. Just coining a term, one prompt for the chat GPT is equal to one bottle of water. So let's not talk about the costs. Let's talk about the cost to humanity. So we all have to understand that we have to own the responsible AI piece. And responsible AI should be everyone's responsibility. Then only this divide and bias will go. Through open source, through sustainable development goals, to making AI for good. In fact, one of the things I was a part of, the first digital public good in blockchain was Vaccine Ledger, one of the startups that I had worked for in the past. So I've seen how it actually is for the public good. Similarly, it's time that we think about AI for good through these products, through applications.
Wonderful. So to understand and what you are sharing, we need to be more responsible while using AI and have AI for good, for the larger good of people. Wonderful. So we also know that, how do you see that one is ensuring that the AI is organically growing and adoption happens in their sphere of influence? What can we do about that?
Yeah. So flipping the question, what can hold you from the organic adoption of AI? I see two reasons. One, like if I say AI is a runway, you run out of fuel, the cost which I mentioned for AI. And another term of the past called the shadow IT. That happens. Because then what you're doing is through shadow AI, that you're using this democratization power of AI in such a way that you run out of fuel while on the runway and you never reach the end state. Therefore, in runtime, you have to invoke controls. Responsible AI is controls which you invoke, there are policies which you can invoke. And rather than stopping people to use AI, get these controls through cornerstones and in a way which is dynamically make people consume what they have to responsibly. Because then what I was trying to say all the while, that responsible AI, democratizing AI, should also have a guardrail to avoid this shadow AI of the present, because we all want to consume it. But let's know what is worth a cash vis-a-vis what is worth a prompt. So I just told you the cost of a prompt. So that is what we need to own individually and as companies, because we are now all in the advent of AI and AI adoption. That's the responsible AI piece, and which all of us need to own.
Awesome. I like the fact that you mentioned that, there's also threat of getting into the shadow AI, which kind of happened with shadow IT, which is a great perspective overall. But no, I think thank you for sharing your insights. It's lovely to have you here. And I am sure people would enjoy understanding from your experience and learning from what you have to share. To close this conversation, would you like to summarize how to people jump into this AI world and how do they leap forward from here?
My parting thoughts will be, I will bring it close to a fishbowl sort of an arrangement. At ISB, we do this discussions, right? So we have a central panel. There are people on all the sides who are trying to be a part of the conversations. So the best is to be a part of the panel. But in your own company or whatever initiative you are, you may be not the part of the core team. So what? You can still contribute from the periphery. Bring that approach, because they're open forums like Kaggle, like Hugging Face, but actually you can not only sort of increase your repertoire, hone new skills, just put them to test others. So it's like a beta environment for AI. Get out there. I would use the term dojo. Do that judo there. Get your hands dirty. And no matter where you are, a part of the core team or of the periphery, always contribute and be part of the bigger initiative of AI for all. That's what you can do.
Awesome. Thank you. With that, we will let our audience go and jump into the larger world of AI. And thank you for enriching us with your wonderful insight. Thank you, Mr. Suman. And we look forward to having you again back here. Have a wonderful day.
Sure. Thank you, Sudeep. Thanks, everyone.